Very good afternoon to you. It's a great pleasure to have you join us here live on Law and You on Independent Television. We're coming to you from Benin City, Nigeria. I'm Uyi Agumofwegbe. This week on the program, we want to take a look at certain situations that make it, give or take, compulsory or necessitates the need to approach a court to seek redress. People have rights naturally, and those rights are likely at some point, for whatever reason, going to be violated, sometimes by individuals, sometimes by organizations, sometimes by even institutions of government. At that point, most times, what people are told is to seek redress, is to initiate some legal action one way or another. Of course, in between, they need the service of a lawyer. But some persons would rather not go to courts. The excuse most times is the wheel of justice turns too slow. Some have even said that they don't have much of confidence in the legal system or in the judiciary. We want to look at, first, what are the factors responsible for this kind of culture? And going forward, how can we deal with this and ensure that we're able to strengthen confidence in our judiciary, in our legal system, and people are able to go to court knowing that justice as quickly as possible will be served. My guest on the program this week is going to help us create context for this discussion. Dr. Patrick Awosaige, so good to have you in the program.
It's my pleasure, thank you, and hello viewers at home.
Apparently, there's no better person to bring here than a lawyer like yourself. I'm very sure you're familiar with this practice. Maybe we should call it a trend, at least for the purpose of this discussion this afternoon, where people are, the foot drag when it gets to going to court. Something happens, for example, let's say land disputes, let's say matter of somebody's item being stolen or being taken forcefully, matters of false pretense, for example, and you say, as a lawyer, advise or strongly recommend that we have to approach the court. Do you usually hear things like, that would take too long?
Yes, obviously, we hear that all the time. And you see, there are certain things, what you say will take too long. And at the end of the day, you try to resort to self-help. You get yourself into a problem. You know, in a situation whereby you are in a world whereby people violate rights at will and they just want to get on your nerves at every time. So what basically one should think about is not whether, it's going to take so long. I think it's Martin Luther King that has said that if lies travel 1,000 miles, the day truth arises, it's going to overtake and win the contest of race as it stands. So what I'm saying in essence, we must not begin to look at how long or whether it is, so long justice is served. I think that is what should be uppermost on the mind of whoever is aggrieved. Now, many a times they say, well, I don't want to go to court, because it seems as if getting judgment or it will take so much time. The question is, you cannot, that's this constituted system. That is how the system runs. You cannot decide your own case. You can't be a judge in your matter. And the laws are there, and the judiciary is there, the courts are there to attend to your needs. So it's a need also. When you are sick and someone have ailment, you don't dictate to the doctor. When you say, okay, at times you could resort to some level of self-help, you have some Panadol, even the adverts, they tell you if you take some, after 3 days, if the sickness does not abate, rush to see your doctor. So at that point in time, it's the same way. When you try to broker, some level of, let's see how we can resolve. Maybe an issue of land, for instance, like you mentioned land earlier on, and somebody have encroached your property and you find out who is this person. If he's a reasonable person, please try to make him understand, look, what you have done, you have just encroached my land, this is my property and I have my document. And you could sit down together and you, as gentlemen, to see how you could resolve it. If that doesn't work, you could go to the community, if it's a community that transfers to you or whoever. Call these persons together and you could call for a meeting. And that way, the heads of communities could assist at that instance, call both parties. At that level, they try to find, resolvable solutions to the problem that is looming. Most of the time, they succeed and say, okay, well, the man, you are not the owner, the man has sold to you so wrongly. They could tell you that straight away, and then you decide to, okay, I give up, I go after the man who has defrauded me, or have swindled my money, or taken money from me fraudulently, and then you leave the land. But some will say, no, I have paid it, I have started working, how can I leave this building that I've you know,
because apparently some substantial investment have been made.
have been made there. So what will happen to me? I will fight it to the end. The result to all manner of trying to rant around. At times they get themselves hurt, you know, instead of reporting to the police, going to the police station to lay your complaints. Maybe somebody is trying to get into your property, which there are elements of criminality there, you know. It's, you know, you're getting into your own property, you get the police involved, and then you make your statement, and the person is called to book. If it's not, they're not okay with that. If the police handle the criminal aspect, but there's another angle for land. I'm just talking about property now. That is the civil angle, which the police will only punish, take you to court for criminal charges, and you are either sentenced to jail for offenses that you may have, you know, carried out in the said property. But now, when ownership to be transferred back to you, you need to go through the civil suits, and then that is where you need to go to the court properly. Even both goes to the court, like the charges of the police taking you to court, prosecutors and the state councils. It all depends on who is handling it at the time. But at that instance, you have to understand one thing, that when it's a criminal issue, maybe somebody forged documents, for instance, to acquire a land, and the police have found that, oh, this is a forgery. He could be charged to court, and then he's jailed for that if it's found wanting. But in a situation where it's not just about forgery, it's an issue of maybe how he got in, he did not do any forgery, you should go to the civil court.
Okay.
Now,
to resolve the disputes.
To resolve the dispute. I could be an innocent buyer, purchase of value without notice. I'm not aware that the documents given to me, it's forged. And I've been there for, and you know, the land use that's over 12 years, over beyond 12 years, it's already started back. Yeah. You cannot go back to court. Now, before then you now say, okay, I'm going to court. And now there's also lashes and acquiescence over time. The period of time that you have stayed, for somebody to say, well, my property document was stolen, for instance, and you've not come to ask questions for 10 years, for 11 years, what happened? So you should know, you should be up and doing, you should be able to, the law does not guide you.
So in that case, the act clearly states that after 12 years, events have overtaken.
Oh, yes, obviously. Now, what we are saying here now is this. The law will not guide the indolent. It will guide the vigilant. So you need to be up and doing. So the law will not swing to your favor.
I was just curious why you were making this brilliant point as to, I mean, just say there's no smoke without fire.
Obviously.
All right. There must be a reason people are not very excited or eager to go to court.
Yes.
What are some of those reasons?
Now, what I could find out from that, now, many times we are impatient.
Okay. That's the members of the public.
Of the public, we are very much impatient, and it's all around. You see it in our way of life. Like I keep asking, I don't know where we are running to. At times you are driving. You see a man with his children in the car. He's trying to overtake you. And the question is, you are not going to work. You are already going home. Or probably you are not going to somewhere very important that is time bound.
Could he be running just to catch dinner early enough?
All kind of dinner with that. The dinner will wait for you at home. So you see them running, and immediately they overtake you, they relax. Now the question is, what have you achieved by so doing?
Right.
So it's a system that should be corrected. You know, we need to wake up to these realities. You need to be patient and walk around. You travel out of this place and you see another civilized clime. You see how they drive. You don't drive like that. You calm down. So it's the same thing that has affected all aspects of our living, and that's basically what affects us. So when you hear somebody say, I don't have that time, I don't have that time. Now, that the court will be so, I will call my boys. I will go and look for community boys.
That's self-help.
Self-help. He said, no, I have this soldier. I had somebody say to me, he said, no, I have my soldier man. He's my friend. He's my paddy. I will call them. I said, look, if you do that, you make a mess of the whole issue. Don't do that. The soldiers are not there. They are there for defense and other things that law empower them for, not to investigate disputed issues. These are the fall within the purview of the police, and you need to make entry if you are being threatened along the line. So these are some of the issues. So when you do that, you will be patient. And yes, I agree that many a times, like they say, well, the wheels of justice, turns very slow. That's correct, and you will know there are a lot of factors for that. Now, one, you have judges that are in the court. They are over-labored. We need more of them. We need to appoint more judges. And that's the truth.
That has been a song by many lawyers over the years.
Yes,
it has become...
It's a song that has been there, but it has not been attended to. So it has become a song that we are singing and singing to the, the government of the day to understand that, look, these judges, they are human beings too.
So they can get overwhelmed.
Obviously. Now, in civilized crime, just imagine somebody sitting from 9 o'clock in the morning till about 2, at times 2:30. And all you are taking application and writing down, taking notes. For crying out loud. Why about the stenographers? Why about helping out in recording and gadgets that will help? A judge is not supposed to be taking notes or just writing. He's supposed to get back to the chambers and reminisce on all that transpired in the courtroom. But he's not saddled with the work of taking down notes. And obviously, you cannot do two things at the same time. Let's be very factual about that. So for you to be writing and at the same time listening with your ears, trying to fine-tune it, and you're going to obviously not be fast enough. At times you see they say the court is writing. You have to slow down, maybe in the case of maybe a cross-examination or trying to make weakness in the box. And they are just talking, my name is Osato Ame Edokbayi, and they are here for, hey, they say, calm down. Your lawyer will call you. The court is writing. So the person comports himself again and then start talking.
So you're saying we ought to have moved past that level?
Incidentally, in the 70s, like I was made to understand, that we had it before.
So what changed?
It changed that all these things went out of, some way, somehow, maybe they had gone bad, and the system had always been, let's forget it. Okay, now the big question is, why will a judge be writing and you take all the notes? You have to just put down some points. Maybe while somebody is talking, you are listening. Okay, so he said this, you put down some points. So a stenographer or somebody to write and have the record.
Something more comprehensive.
More comprehensive. So when you don't have to, or whoever is seated as judge, don't have to belabor him or herself to put down all the points. So that in itself is taking a vital part of trying to study who, because it's not just about writing. It's looking at the demeanor of who is talking. When you are looking at this person, is he speaking from both sides of his mouth? Is he lying? Or is he trying to cover up something? You have to be vigilant. You have to be very, meticulous, because this is an issue that borders on somebody's rights that could be trampled on.
Sometimes matter of life and death.
Life and death. So you don't have to just jump into it. So these are some of the hiccups. So for the fact that they know that there's these lapses, they would not want to hurriedly jump into conclusions. So they have to slow down the process so that justice will be served. So why blame it on the judges or the lawyers now, that they are always not wanting to be fast? No, the system is what has affected everybody. So we need to cry to the government. We need to tell the government, look, this ought to be done. The average man should go on the street. They said that's the last hope of the common man.
Right.
By law, that is what you should do. You can say, well, I don't like the judges, I don't like lawyers. You can hate all the lawyers for all I care. You can hate, but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, you will still come to court. So you have no choice. If you resort to self-help, you will go to prison. You don't have the right to take the laws into your hand. No matter what it is, no matter what has happened, you don't have that right. So that is the law. So when judges are overlabored, and you see many of them and writing, and then you get back, at times the courts will not be too fine because of this laborious work, and then they are working too much. We just need to relieve them of the bulk of what they are doing.
Would you say, from your own experience, that cost of consulting the lawyer could also be responsible, maybe to an extent, for people's reluctance to approach the court over several issues?
I don't absolutely agree. The average lawyer is there to help.
Okay.
I know that we say, well, it's not true. I'm telling you the truth. There is no lawyer that wants to. Why are you a lawyer? You are there to ensure justice is served. Yes, in as much this is what you don't expect him to do it for free.
Of course.
You don't go to the hospital and I'm sorry, I'm using the hospital, as an example. You don't go there and expect to be treated for free. He has children too. He has a family. He's going to take off his home, so he needs the money too. But if you're able to explain to the lawyer, look, this is my case. I don't have much money. I say, what do you have? And many a times you could have, a way of resolving yourselves. I don't have it now. Maybe later on, I'll pay some money now. And lawyers will jump into it. And besides, if there are some that say, well, I won't do it, you still have the option of going to other lawyers.
Right.
So there are lawyers that you could, I remember some time ago, many years ago, we needed to attend, then I was not a lawyer, we needed the matter. I went to a particular chambers with some of my folks, and they gave us a bill that was so heavy. And I looked at it, we didn't have the money. So we left. But eventually somebody referred us to someone else. To one late Stephen Osingbe of blessed memory. And he saw it and he said, yes, but what is it? How are you going to pay? How are you going to pay this money? We said, sir, we don't have this money. It's okay, but when we are done, you guys are going to agree to. I said, well, we will do that, sir. And then he used his car to take us around because he could see that this is someone's life. Justice is about to be twisted on some ways. I need to fight for these young folks. And he started it up. So in that sense, you are not tied to one person. So every lawyer could say, well, but I tell you the truth. For the lawyers I know, they will not just be looking at it, pay me now, or if you can't pay, they want to work for you. So many times, I think there's a wrong notion we have in public that
about the lawyers.
Yes. The people believe that lawyers should not be demanding for money. I don't know why they feel like that. That if a lawyer asks you now, okay, just for instance, I've had the situations where people have issues at the police station, for instance, and they tell you, barrister, I don't have money, oh, my son, or my daughter, or whatever, please just do it for me. The lawyer's, okay, how much are you paying? He said, well, okay, let me have 50,000, for instance. Say, I don't have 50,000, sir. Look at me, I'm a market woman, and all I can do is 10,000. And the man looks at her, the woman is crying, kneeling down,
maybe a widow.
A widow, just jumping around. And then you feel hot. Oh, okay, let me help her. And then let me have the money. On getting to the station, and then they now say, okay, they will charge the matter to court. And they said, let's go to court, and then we'll defend your son. And she said, hey, they will not call the woman to a corner. Hey, I want to go and see the OC. I want to go and see the IPO. I want to, people start coming from different corners, and the lawyer is lost. What's happening? And the woman I say, barrister, I want to go and see you can go. What is happening? Why am I here? Then later you get information that she has paid over 200,000 to some person.
Just to secure her son's bail.
And then her son is out. She don't want trouble. Now,
so it comes down again to the reluctance to
you see. Now, see, she was not ready to pay the lawyer to do his job, and she was ready to bribe her way through. Let me use the word like that. So it's they come up any time
with the same charge.
With the same charge. So a criminal prosecution is a lifetime. So you cannot say, well, I am off the hook now, once and for all, and get justice. But many times it's not done that way. So when you see people having this mindset, or cutting corners, or going through corners, and have their ways in that regard, that's what has caused the whole problem.
You talked about how that's being a lawyer yourself. You virtually don't know any of your colleagues who would be so desperate to get money that they are not ready to help.
Yes.
I see a lot of truth in that, because in our lifetime we've seen lawyers take up cases pro bono.
So many.
Yes, all across this country and even beyond.
So many.
Do you think that culture, where we know, for example, real time, that there are lawyers who do cases pro bono, do you think that could encourage members of the public to want to
lawyers are still doing pro bono?
Yes.
Is what they are still
doing. Would that change the narrative, basically?
It's been there. Lawyers, like I just said.
Of course, we have all seen that. I'm only asking whether that holds the potential to change the narrative. We really encourage people more to want to go to court where necessary.
If they don't want to go to court, like I said before, you won't get justice.
Yes. So, but what if they knew the case would be done pro bono, for example, in some circumstances? Would that encourage them?
Now, the cases, we are talking of pro bono. They are aware of the pro bono services the lawyers are about to render. And they still went behind to borrow money from LAPO. They lied to the LAPO manager that I have my business, I want to stock up my business for
then take the money elsewhere.
Take the money elsewhere to go and sort out. So how do you blame the lawyer? He has said I will handle it, I will attend to it, but only to get to court or to get to the police station, and they said they have resolved. You see the accused person and the complainer, they are not dragging their hand, not be you cause and that, they are, it's good to resolve things like that. But what I'm saying, what has been said is already there, documented. It's already in statements, and it can come up anytime. So don't go home and feel you are okay. Many times the young men are picked up, they say you you are into the so-called Yahoo, you know, you're into fraud, wire, and all of those internet activities. Now, and you say, well, I don't just want trouble, I don't want trouble. You know, for instance, you have not done anything wrong. Many a times you say, well, I don't want trouble, I'm afraid. Somebody says, each time I see police, I will just be scared. I say, why? He said, because of the way they behave. I said, no, you are the cause. When you are approaching a checkpoint, slow down before they start flagging you down. That's what I do. I don't have to tell you I'm a lawyer or whatever. You see men with torchlights, quickly put on your inner lights.
At night.
At night, slow down. And when they're even pointing, you see their torchlight is falling. And I stop before they even have to walk up to me. I don't have to drive to where you are.
Right.
I walk up. You walk up to me some, few steps to me, to my vehicle, and the light, they greet you and start. They are human beings. So that in itself already proved to them or showed to them that you don't have anything to hide. But in the situation you see them, you will not start driving so fast, even attempting to kill or hit them on the road. That's wrong. And they go after you, say they are hot or they are bad. And then later you call your lawyer at night. You see, some policemen just attacked me. They were pointing, like one lied to me some time ago that they were pointing gun at him. I said, how? He said they were using gun to pursue him. And they now jumped out of his car. I said, you jumped out of your car to do what? He said he wanted to kill himself so that he would just leave this trouble. I said, that is very, very silly of you. With all respect to you. We got to the station. The policeman said, look, barrister, this is what happened. We only asked him to stop. He slowed down and then he started running. And we pursued him. The next thing, he got to a point that he discovered that we were going to get him. He jumped out of his car. And then he was ready to kill himself before they handcuffed him. Okay, his vehicle particulars are in order. There was no incriminating thing in the vehicle. And I asked him, what was your problem? Why are you running? So in things like that, many of them, they may not be free in the actual sense, but something must be the reason for that. Right. But at the end, at the material time, did you find any incriminating thing? You have to grant him bail and allow him go. So basically, people have this attitude towards the police, towards the lawyer, that they are wicked and bad people. Lawyers are just there to deceive you and collect your money. They lie and lie and lie and lie.
But then again, I mean, in fairness to the facts, we've seen cases, reports of lawyers who had over time extorted their clients. Isn't that enough to also discourage people?
When you say extort, we need to get into the roots of it.
I mean, I've spoken with lawyers like yourself,
yes,
who have talked about how a number of lawyers have been dragged to the NBA disciplinary committee to handle some of these issues. It could also be a reason people get discouraged. That cannot be it everywhere in the country. Now you talked about extortion and maybe lawyers have taken money from them. Now the NBA disciplinary committee is, is just to check. If you feel a lawyer have defrauded you, the NBA disciplinary committee is not the competent court to handle it. A lawyer can go to, you can take a lawyer to court. Of course.
A lawyer could be prosecuted.
Because it's first a human being before...
so the idea of the NBA coming in to look at it and all of that, if the NBA have checked, just like, for instance, the Magu's presidential panel now, what they are doing, that's not the court.
I'm going to ask you something quickly because we're wrapping up now.
Yes.
What do you think are the two specific things, for example, that we must do going forward to address this apparent reluctance that we find?
Now we need to reorientate our people. We need to do more of reorientation. You need to go out and let the people know. I think that lies on the NBA now, to go out on proper sensitization on the people, that love, like I love the sticker now. There are some stickers I don't want us to keep using, like, my Peking a lawyer, trouble na my work and stuff like that. I don't think stuff like that.
Whose idea was that?
It could be somebody saying, I be lawyer, trouble na my work, and so kind of sticker. Imagine that on your car. That one speak of something.
Sends the wrong signal.
The wrong signal. So we should use more. The lawyer is your friend, like the word the police have adopted. The police is your friend. So don't see us as your enemies. You can confide in your lawyer. A lawyer is there to help you. He see you through and guide you and advise you.
I'm very sure as we go forward, we can use some friendship with the lawyers, and of course the police. But overall, the point being made on the show today, especially by my guest here, is that we must change our attitude towards legal matters. We must take advantage of all of the legal resources that we have. At least we have lawyers, so we can start from there. I mean, the excuse of I'm not a lawyer, I don't know a jack about the law, it doesn't even hold water, because we have lawyers who have been trained to deal with all of these issues and also advise appropriately. Thank you so much,
It's my pleasure.
Dr. Patrick Awosage, for coming on the program. This is where we're leaving it this Monday. We appreciate you watching. We're back here next week, Monday. Do join us then. I'm Uyi Agumofo Egbe. Our coverage on ITV continues.